Hello, you're watching Guitar 101 Rammstein, and this video is for the absolute beginner. You just got a guitar and you need to tune it, especially a new guitar. There are tons of videos of how to tune a guitar on YouTube. And since I'm teaching for over 10 years now, I watch a lot of these videos just to see if there's anything new I can learn to teach better. I, of course, know how to tune a guitar, but a lot of times if you buy a brand new guitar out of the box, fresh from the store, or through the mail, it's usually going to be an even worse scenario. As far as how the guitar is in tune, you might even learn your first chord and strum it, and it's going to sound like that. So, like I said, there's a million videos showing how to tune. What I've noticed is a lot of them kind of assume you know a lot of things already. It's very common. For example, we're a few days away from Christmas. A lot of times, that's a new gift, Christmas present, new guitar. You get it for your kids, and then they're like, "How do I tune it?" And I have this a lot as a guitar teacher, where the parents buy my younger students a new guitar, and they bring it in, and they're like, "We tried to tune it for him. We looked at videos on YouTube, or we bought a guitar tuner, and I check it, and it sounds like that." So I'm going to run through for absolute beginners. So if you're already a beginner guitarist, you're probably hopefully beyond this. You won't need to watch this video. This is for a lot of times for parents, because especially really young kids, they're not going to learn how to tune right away. That's going to take them a while to learn. So if their guitar is not in tune, they're not going to be very encouraged to practice. That guitar is probably going to be collecting a lot of dust, and it's going to be really hard to compete over something like an Xbox. So your present doesn't go to waste. I'm going to show you how to tune that guitar, and consider a couple things. What kind of guitar it is all the same. Whether it's an electric guitar, a small kid's guitar, nylon string like this, where you see the bottom strings look almost like a fishing line, or a steel string acoustic. It's all working the same. The only difference is with a nylon string guitar, which a lot of the beginner models are, the strings are going to stretch more. They have these knots here that need a bit more, they need to be settled in. They need to be broken in before it's going to stay in tune. Otherwise, you're going to tune it over and over and over until you think the guitar is just junk and want to throw it away. So I picked my cheapest guitar I have here. It's a student model. I think I got it for like €20 new, which is like $25. It's not a bad guitar. It's very good for a beginner student model guitar. But when you first get a new guitar, it's going to take a little bit more work than normal to tune it. First off, I do suggest getting a guitar tuner. The problem with guitar tuners is they all look different. They all work different. They have different modes. I'm going to go through all that for you. But if the guitar's never been tuned before, chances are the strings are really out of tune. So even with a tuner, it can be very difficult. You can tune to the right note, but it might be the wrong note. As in, it could be the note E, but it's a lower pitched E. Or you accidentally go a bit higher and you break a string. So one thing to consider is, did you buy the guitar from a shop or secondhand, or did you order it online through the mail? Because if it came through the mail, chances are, instead of sounding something like in the note it should be, they're going to have the strings really loose. So it's going to sound more like this. Hopefully it arrived like that in the mail, because when they ship it, they loosen the strings a lot. It reduces the tension on the neck. It's less prone to damage. All right, so, but at the same time, that's going to be the hardest to tune for the first time. So what you want to do is get these strings close to the sound of what I'm going to play on each string. Before we go into all that, I'll do that towards the end so you can kind of follow that. Before we go to that, though, let's talk about a guitar tuner. Guitar tuners, they come in all shapes and sizes. You don't really have to buy one these days. You can get an app for free on your smartphone. You can type in guitar tuner on computer. It uses a microphone, whatever. Or just buy like a clip-on tuner. Something like this. They can get pretty cheap, $10, $20, and you're set. All right, so the tuners can be a little bit confusing, but just to break it down how they basically work, it could be a needle that goes left to right, or dots. So it's like red dots and green dots, or green dot in the center, red dots on the left and right. So when I'm plucking the string, and I know the note name of the string that I want it to be, that it should be, which I'll go through in a minute. Say, for example, this is my E string, the top string here. So if I pluck that and it says E on the tuner, that's good. But I want that needle or that green light, whatever's in the middle, to indicate that I'm in tune. If it's showing to the left, it means the string is too loose. If it's showing to the right, the string is too tight. There's also symbols they use for it that what'll look like a hashtag or a number sign. That's a sign for sharp in music. That means the note is the string is a little bit tighter than the actual natural note. If it looks like kind of like a lowercase b, it means the string's a little bit looser. All right. So say I am, depends on the tuner. Like this one, for example, it has a mode button. So this tuner actually works for guitar, it works for bass, I think it works for violin and cello, and then it has C for chromatic. Chromatic tuners are going to tune to any note you want, any of the 12 notes in Western music. Whereas, tuning for a violin is going to be different for a guitar. So you want to make sure the mode is set to either guitar or set it to chromatic. Either one will work. You'll also see a number a lot of times. It'll say like 440, and that number you might accidentally change. It's the hertz. So 440 is the true concert tuning. That's what we want to tune to normally. If you mess with that button, just reset it back to 440. Sometimes you just turn them on and turn them off, turn them off, turn them back on, and it'll do that for you automatically. Anyways, what I'm going to do, I think my battery's dead on this one. So I got a tuning app on my phone. It's a free one. It's kind of modeled after this Boss pedal. And you'll see, let's see if I can see it. The screen is so small. When I pluck a note, is it doing anything yet? It's telling me A flat, and the needle's not in the center. But it's really low. It's way under tension. I have to tighten this string. So depending on the guitar, if it's an acoustic guitar, you're going to have the tuning pegs going, kind of think of like a horseshoe shape, like this. So this is the top string, the next one down, next one, next one, next one, next one. So A, I have to think of the alphabet. In musical alphabet, we go A through G. There's no H. After G, it repeats A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So this is A. I want to keep tightening it till I get to E. And if you're turning and nothing changes, double check you're on the right tuning peg here. All right, and the first time I'm tuning, don't waste a lot of time getting it perfectly in center where I get that green light. Because as you change the tension of the strings, it's going to change the tension of the neck. You're going to have to tune it a few times the first time. All right, so get your E string to sound something close to that. And let's run through the string note names before I forget. From the top string to bottom, it's going E, A, D, G, B, E. Every animal does good but elephants. Also, some tuners will show number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That can be a little confusing because it's the bottom string is number 1 and it goes upwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 E strings. So E1 is the bottom, E6 is the top. All right, so now I'm going to just get the rest of the strings close to pitch. So your A string should sound something close to that. I mean, if it's super low or super higher than that, just get it close. D string, third one down. G string is the fourth string down. B string, fifth string down. And the first string, the bottom string, is the E, another E string. See, it's not close. It's not perfect. It's fine. The first time you tune it, don't worry about getting it perfect. You're just going to waste time. All right. Get the strings close to tension. And when we have a nylon string guitar, you'll see at the bottom there are these kind of knots that are tying the strings in. A lot of times those are super loose. They're going to move on you. So get it close and then grab those strings. And new strings are going to stretch anyways, whether it's an electric guitar or steel string, especially a nylon string guitar. You're going to put a lot of, see, I put my fingers and then my thumb, and I give it a crank. Don't be afraid. You can be pretty hard on it. Don't go crazy so you break the string. But do that up and down the strings a few times. You might even hear some things moving, a creaking sound on these knots here, and you might even see them getting smaller and tighter. You want to get all that tension out, get the strings settled in. That's very important, otherwise you'll tune for a month and wonder why the guitar's not staying in tune. All right. Do that on all the strings, and then we go through and tune it just close, approximate. So I'm going to throw my tuner and run through it real quick. Also, keep the tuner close to the guitar and don't make sound. Don't be in a noisy room when you're using it because it's picking up through a microphone. pretty close. Now, at this point, after I kind of stretch those strings out, I really got to play. If it's a new strings on a new guitar, I got to play on it a while. I got to just strum around on it for a while. That's going to help break in the strings. And then after breaking in the strings, after playing out for a while, the tuning is going to become a lot more stable. From there, once that initial tune-up is done, and settling in the strings, it's going to be a lot less work to tune it. You're going to have to do much less adjustments. So once it's been initially tuned and you're tuning, and you got to turn this tuning key more than like 2 revolutions, double check on what you're doing because something is probably wrong. Normally it's going to go out of tune. That's normal, but it doesn't take a whole lot of turning. It's just usually a small quarter turn, half turn at the most to get it back into pitch. You might find that you go through each string and you tune it perfectly, and then you check it and like, hey, it's out again. That's normal because you're changing the tension on the neck. So once you've got it tuned, you might have to tune it a couple times until the neck is settled to that string tension, and then you're going to find it's less and less tuning that is required. That's really it. I mean, the only thing I can think of that I might be missing is, all tuners look differently, but they all work about the same. It's watch out for those modes. So if I have it tuned to, I believe it's violin, they have like a C string. There's no C string in guitar, so it's going to keep telling you to turn until you hit that C note. So if it's in the wrong mode, you're not going to have success with tuning it. It's always going to look like you're tuning it wrong. Use chromatic mode or guitar mode, and watch out for that sharp and that flat cymbal, because you could be tuning it just a little bit too high or a little bit too low that way. It's very easy to forget which way is tighten or loosen. Watch the needle as you turn it. Always, when you're adjusting, always have the string making a sound. Once it kind of goes quiet, pluck it again. Don't pluck hard, pluck pretty soft. And I want to hear it's going, now it's loosening or it's tightening. I want to always be able to hear that, so I know 2 things, that I'm turning the right direction, and also that I'm not accidentally grabbing the wrong tuning key, which is really easy to do. And that's the most common way I see people that over tighten a string and break a string. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Hit like and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I do a lot of beginner level guitar lessons, so if you got a new guitar or got one for your kids, check out my other videos. Till next time.